Hello, let's take a look how to use content provider. So I have this example done already. So I have a student's provider. It is from the content provider. Yeah, we can run it. Let's take a look what the application can do for us. Yeah, so for the input, I have ID, name, and grade for the student information. So I have add, get, update, and delete for the actions. So currently we have nothing because we didn't add any data yet. So if we add some data, test 1, for example, we want to add grade 1, then we click add. So it will add one row for us. If we get this data. So if we keep adding, we will get more data. So for the update, if we input the ID, for example, currently we have ID 1. If we put ID 1, then update the data for that ID. Yeah, we click update, so it will give us the new data like this. So if we delete, the delete will only need this ID. So if the ID is not empty and it's valid, then if we hit delete, it will just remove this row. So if we click delete, then we click get, we get nothing because the delete action will remove that data entry. Okay, let's take a look at our code. Basically, for the main activity, we have on create this the default code generated by Android Studio. So we don't need to do anything for the resume. So we have an add button, which is this button. Inside of the add button, we create content values. We put a name from this edit box for the name. This one get the grade value for the grade field. Then we call get content resolver dot insert. We put our content URI. Then we insert the value. Then we use the toast to output the URI. Then the get is this button. So the get, we are going to get all the data out. So we prepare the URL like this. Then we are going to get all the students. So we use this one to query a cursor. Then we get the cursor. We move to the first. Then we get all the data, all the row. So each row we put a new line for them. Then we move to next until we have no data. So at the end, we output all the data into text view here. So update button is this one. So it's going to update the values from the edit box and the name and the grade. So we will provide the ID from this field. So it will only update that row identified by this ID. So after we call this, it will tell us how many rows is updated. So because we only provide one ID, it will, if it is successful, it will return 1. So delete, we only need to provide the ID. So we just call delete. So for the where conditions and the select arguments, we don't need to provide. So the ID will specify that row to delete. So the result we return the number of rows is deleted. So if it is successful for our case, definitely it will be 1. So if not, it will be 0. So the main the content provider is like this. So we define the student provider from the content provider. So we prepare this provider name. This is the unique name. So this is the name we are going to use to register the content provider inside the Android manifest.xml. So let's take a look our registration for this content provider. So we use provider. This is the name we used for the authorities. This is the unique name, our package, and then the class name should be fine. Then we this is the class name for the student's provider. Okay, so we need to prepare the URL. This for all the students. If you put a /id behind it, it will specify that student one row. So this one also create a content URI, the URI object. So we be used by the API interface like insert, update, delete. Yeah, and then we this is the columns like ID, name, and grade. So for the ID we don't need to provide because it will automatically generated by the database. So for this case we are using SQLite database. So then projection, we don't need this field yet, so we just leave it there. For students ID, students and student ID, this one is used for the URL matcher. So if we provide this URL, so it will match this one. If we provide this URL with the ID behind, it will match this one. So we define a SQLite database object. So we use this database name. Then we use the students as the table name. Database version, for example, we just put a 1. The SQL statements for creating the data, creating the table will be like this. The table name, then the ID will be auto increment type. It's a primary key. Then the name cannot be null, the grade cannot be null. Yeah. So this one is SQLite open helper. So inside we are going to create the table or upgrade the table. So first we drop it and then create it again. So that's the two main methods. One is on create and one is on upgrade. So the other one is on downgrade. So for this demo we don't discuss that one. This content provider has on create method as well. So it will prepare the table first. So it will open that one, then get the writable database. Then we have the insert method. So insert method, we provide the table name, also the content values. So once if the row ID is bigger than 0, means the action is successful, then we try to notify the change. Then the query interface. Query interface, it provides a URI, then projection, selection, and selection arguments. So sort order. This one very important. Sort order. We want to make our data sorted by a certain field. For example, for this case, name and grade. Either sort your data with the name or with the grade field. So the SQLite query builder. So with the table name, then the URL will match which matcher we are going to use, either students or student ID. So ID will give us one row of the data. This one will give us a lot of row of data. That's it. If the sort order is not null, then it's null. Then we just sort it by the name. So for this case, we provide the name, then this will be the name. Yeah, then we return the cursor for the query. Then we get the data by moving the cursor. For the delete, yeah, for this case, it's most likely to call the database object, the API, the delete by the conditions where clause and then arguments, or for the specific ID for specific the row, we update that data. Then they notify the change at the end. So update is most likely the same. So we locate the data, then we update the data. So also students, either students or student ID. For our case, we provided ID, so we will update that row only. For this part, get a type. For no matter it's students or student ID, so for this part cannot be changed. This part is it's the standard value. So this one kind of directory, it's a set of data. This one for item, usually one item. So for this part, you can provide your own subtype. For this case, I just use the very arbitrary string for the subtype. As long as it's unique. Yeah, that's the students provider class. That's all. And so yeah, let's continue to do our demo. So currently no data, so we add. Then we get one data, then we continue add. Then we can get a lot of data. Yeah, we can get 13 data, for example. So we want to update 11, for example, 11 to something arbitrary like this. Then we update, and we get again. So 11 will become the new data we just set. Then we try to delete the 11. We don't have to provide this one. So we just call delete. Then we get again. There's no 11 in our data set. So the 11 is deleted. So we can keep doing, like we delete 12. We have 12, right? Yeah, we delete 12. Then we get again. So there's no 12 anymore. Yeah, that's the very quick demo for content provider. Hope you like it. Thanks.